Hello everyone, this is Preacher Timothy of Mules for the Lord, Mules Charity Club Corporation. Today we're going to talk about the similarities between the Old Testament Bible and the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. If you turn your Old Testament Bible to Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, it says that God breathed life through the man's nostrils and he became a living soul. It's very similar to what it says in the Book of Dead, and Alexandria will explain that to you in just a minute. But what I want to say is that as a preacher and as a Judeo-Christian, you have to seek God. In order to do that, there's nothing wrong with looking at earlier civilizations' belief systems, looking at the way they view God, things of that nature. So let's go to what the Book of the Dead says about God bringing man to life.
And a lot of you may be wondering why we're referencing the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And a lot of you, when you think about Egypt or ancient Egypt, you think of many gods. Well, this is before the many gods came into play. And I'm going to read a passage from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and where it goes into their thought process in regards to God. And I'm talking about God in the singular. And it says in this particular passage, He giveth life to man, he breatheth the breath of life into his nostrils. God is father and mother, the father of fathers and the mother of mothers.
Right there in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, you have the same creation of man that you have in the Old Testament. Now, let's look at what's significant about that. Judaism was not formed until 1900s BC. The Book of the Dead was written somewhere between 2400 BC and 2800 BC, which will make it roughly anywhere from 600 years older to 1,000 years older than Judaism. But there you have the same creation story of how man came to life, brought to life through the nostrils by one God, the supreme God, the God of gods, the Father of fathers. And so he's the creator of all. Even though in ancient Egypt they believed in lowercase gods, lesser gods, they did believe in the supreme God, which is very important. Matter of fact, if you study the Egyptian Book of the Dead, what you will notice is that a lot of the Egyptian Book of the Dead is very similar to the Old Testament Bible.
And we're going to use this as a particular example. If you type and do a Google search of the word Neter, Neter. That is the Egyptian word for God with a capital G. And I'm going to show you exactly where it says right here. I don't know if you can see it right here. Neter. And that's with a capital G. And that's singular for God. And then that's the pictorial symbol of God, and it's all over in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. This is right out of the Egyptian Book of the Dead for Neter, the word for God, folks.
And so you might say, well, that's not the name of God. Well, we don't know the name of God, actually. In different religions, different people call him different things. What's important is that we recognize there's one creator, one supreme God, which is clearly referenced in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, as well as being referenced in the Old Testament Bible. And so if you look at it like that, then you get a closer understanding. These people were 600 years to 1,000 years pre the Judaism religion. And Judaism is the foundation of Christianity. You don't have Christianity without Judaism. Jesus Christ himself preached Judaism. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with seeking God, so keep seeking God. You got anything else you want to add?
I think what we have to portray or relate to the listeners is knowledge is power, and by simply reading the Egyptian Book of the Dead or making reference of other religious texts, it is not a sin against God to educate yourself with knowledge. It is not a sin. God would not be angry for educating yourself on different religious beliefs throughout the world, folks.
In this book, God tells you to seek him. He says seek him and you'll find him. And so it's very, very important by seeking God that we study as much as we can to learn all about God that we can. So this has been Preacher Timothy in Alexandria with Mules for the Lord. Y'all have a good day.